أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل عليه وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المنتجبين سيما على بقية الله في الأراضين إمام زماننا حجة الله القائم المهدي عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف ولعن الله على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, last time we had discussed issues related to the difference between something, nothing, what is the contradiction of thing or something or shay or min shay or la shay or la min shay, and how things were impacted by this discussion. And I don't know, I think I forgot to post the recording, which inshallah I will today, including with this one. So I will be posting 2 recordings today, inshallah. So today's issues are discussing something related to Wujood in a different sense. So let us understand, we have this, if you have not remembered or if we have not discussed, please remind me. But I believe we have discussed ilm huzuri and ilm husuli. Ilm huzuri is something that is intuitively, innately, and presentially present. Like we discussed, we exist, we don't have to prove it, it is self-evident and self-proven. Something which is a part is more than its own whole under proper circumstances. This is something which is intuitively known and present, doesn't need to be proven. I mean, you can prove it, but still, it's a concept which is universally present, acceptable, and understandable. So that is that. I'm just trying to see where is the here. Okay. Okay. So this is important for us to understand the next concept. The next concept is that things that exist either are present because of themselves, meaning they themselves can be their own cause, they caused themselves, meaning they are either independent of cause, meaning we cannot talk about their cause. I think cause themselves is not a correct statement on my part. So I will take it back. So I will say things that are present are either cause dependent or cause independent, meaning they are either entities that in their own self independent, and they are present existentially by themselves, or they are not, which means that they are dependent entities inherently, incessantly, and in by themselves. So either they are entities that are causal or they are not causal. I think this is not that difficult to communicate, correct? Should I move on?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So if we are at that stage, next question is, if I said to you that anything which is not independent, any entity which is causal, then that entity in by itself is preceded by extinction, by not being present, and is its existence at any point in time, as long as the entity is causal, that entity's existence will always require that cause, and the only thing that will happen to the entity if the cause is removed from it will be extinction. In a simple sentence, any existence which is causal is a possible existence, and any possible existence is always preceded by non-existence as long as it exists. Do you understand? Or do I need to clarify?
Understood.
So tell me what you understood.
So if I'm alive right now, if I exist, that means that I definitely didn't exist before I existed or became alive. And anything that is a causal entity that was caused by something preceding it did not exist before it was caused.
So it is not only in terms of existence, though. It is the focus is not on necessarily on existence. Existence is a something that we are talking about, but the focus is on the nature of it, meaning the causality of it, meaning that as long as the attribute of causality, the attribute that in by itself is causal in nature, in that existence, as long as that is present, the existence in by itself is always preceded by extinction. Meaning, let's say I was born. Okay. So if I am born, I was preceded by non-existence before my birth. But even after my birth, my existence continues to have attributes that are causal in nature. So, for example, I inherently possess movement and motion. So it is not that I was only at the time of my birth, I needed a cause to bring me into existence. And after that, I became independent by myself in terms of maintaining my existence. Instead, since I have attributes or since I have qualities or since my existence is of a kind that always is in flux due to the presence of causal entities that are required to sustain my existence. Therefore, the sustenance of my existence, even after I came into existence, is always going to be in the flux between existence and non-existence, because at each moment of continued existence, I will be in need of that cause that keeps me into existence. Do I make sense?
So, I mean, like, in order for me to exist, I need a cause to exist. Is that what we are saying?
So not only in order for us to exist as in birth, but as in exist as in right now.
No, I understand that part. Like, right now, as I am right now, with like X amount of age and everything, like I am with my thoughts and everything, there's a cause for me to exist. Like, there has to be a cause.
Which means you're not only that your existence in terms of your coming into being, but also your existence in terms of your sustenance, your maintenance, your continuation, since you are at any moment in time an existence which is causal, meaning you can be and or you cannot be, you may be or you may not be. So you are always in flux. Your existence is always in flux, and that flux is always maintained in the realm of existence because the cause is always keeping it in existence.
So here we are not just talking about physical existence, we are also talking about spiritual existence, mental.
Well, very spiritual later. We haven't reached the spirit yet.
Okay.
So, is there a problem with that?
No, no, there isn't. No.
Ali? Ali?
I think it makes sense. I mean, it sounds like we're saying God was the cause to bring us into this world, and he continues to be the cause to keep us alive in this world.
Right? No, but what we are trying to say is that is correct. And but what we are trying to say is that without any entity which is causal is always in a state of flux. It may be present, or it may not be present. The presence, the non-existence only comes in the realm of existence if there is a cause. Otherwise, there is no cause. And if there is no cause, then it will not exist, right?
Yes.
So at each instance in time, when we are talking about the presence of a entity which is a causal entity, as long as it remains causal entity, it will always be in a state of flux between existence and non-existence, and will only be or remain in existence, whichever way you want to talk about it, that it will only be or remain in existence as long as there is a support from the cause towards the direction of existence. Otherwise, no. So
So,
this,
like, what
huh?
would the cause be for a human being that exists, for example? So, I'm trying to like picture this other than Allah being like the cause of the original cause, the initial cause of everything. But like if you extend that out to us, like me as a person who was birthed by a mother. So what does that mean that my cause is what keeps me, alive sort of.
Okay.
It supports my existence.
Hold this thought, okay? Hold this thought. I will further elaborate. Maybe I will answer it automatically, but let me. How do we know that sustenance requires a cause, right? Basically, that's what you are saying.
Exactly. So like what does that continuous support of our existence by
Right,
our cause
right.
entail exactly?
I
It
understand.
might be emotional support, like
No,
a
no, no,
reason
not
to
emotional
live.
support. We're talking about
Okay.
existential. We are in the realm of existence. So the whole conversation is about existence. Okay. Okay. So let us understand that any time, any existence we have is either wajib, meaning essential in by itself, or it is possible in by itself. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to leave the essential for a side. Let's come to the possible existence. Right? Now, one can never say that uh, a possible existence doesn't require cause. Is just a rhetorical statement, but it needs to be made. Because whatever you're going to say doesn't require a cause will become essential existence. Right? I mean, that's pretty obvious, no? Right?
Yes, yes,
Right.
agreed.
Okay. So, therefore, a possible existence is a causal existence. Yes? Okay. We said yes. All right. If there is a no here, then let me know, then we'll talk about it. If not, that is it. But it is intuitive. It is, self-evident. Okay. Now, if we say that an entity is the cause of another entity, like A created B, but then B created A. Well, that's obviously a contradiction, correct? Do I have to prove it or you can do this? I'm pretty sure you guys can do this, right?
That's not possible.
So that's a contradiction, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, Ali. You raised hand.
Yes, agreed.
Agreed. Okay, fine. A little bit of variant of this is, I just want to make a point just so that we clearly state it. If I say that if I have a document and I say this, oh, I'm not going to sign till Ali will sign. And Ali says, well, I'm not going to sign until, Hasan Askari signs. So if I'm not going to sign till Ali signs and Ali is not going to sign till Hasan Askari signs, but it's never going to be signed. That document will never be signed. Yes?
Until you put both of them in the same room and ask
Now,
them to
even then,
sign.
somebody has to sign it first, right?
Yeah, if someone has to sign it first, then yeah, it's never going to be signed.
Yeah, because I am saying that Ali says, I'm not going to sign it till Hasan Askari signs. Hasan Askari says, I'm not going to sign it till Ali signs. Well, then who's going to sign it? Then it will never be signed. Not by any of us, right?
True. This is true. It's self-evident. That's true.
Okay. Therefore, if in such a case that if A wouldn't be created until B was there, and B wouldn't be created until A was there, it's another way of looking at this circular argument, right? Then nothing would be created, right? Nothing would be created.
Yeah, that's logic right there.
Right. So, and that is why it is self-evident that it can never be true. I mean, just self-evident, because according to that logic, if that logic would be correct and true, then nothing would be in existence. And yet we know that we exist. And therefore, that logic is absurd. Yes? Are we clear on this?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Moving on. Now, if somebody says that this regression, meaning A was created by B, was created by C, was created by D, was created by E, was created by F, was created by, and that is an infinite regression, right? Infinite process, never ending. So even that would imply the same thing, that nothing would be created. Why? Why? Because at each time you are saying that an entity which is causal does not require an entity which is not an effect and just a cause. Because at each instance and each level, we're going to keep saying, well, how can any of the causal entities was created? And as long as your answer remains that the creator was a causal entity, meaning itself required cause, was a cause and effect both, was an existence which needed both sides, you will not be able to answer the question. And therefore, what will happen is that you are going to reach a place at any point in time in that chain, when we're going to point to something, effectively it would not exist because it would not be able to explain its own existence at that point in time, because its back is going to be empty, because the back is also in flux between cause and effect. So each entity which is the creator of the next entity is an entity which is in flux, and therefore has no back, has no provider which is cause independent. Once you reach that scenario that you have a no cause independent provider, you are back in the same situation like you were in the door, or which I said, in which, A created, B created, A create, and basically that means none of them would be created. Because A would not be here unless B was there, B wouldn't be here unless A was there. Well, each of the entity here is in flux. Wouldn't be here unless the other entity was in existence, which in itself is in flux. Do you understand? That's where I wanted to bring the concept of flux, which I introduced in the first place. That if you are causal, you are always in flux between existence and non-existence. And you will only come into existence if there is a cause which has the capability to bring you into existence. Do you understand? Bilal, Ali?
Yeah.
Yeah?
By the way, it's me and Amin. We're both here. We've both
Oh,
been.
Amin. So Amin and Ali, you both understand this?
Yes.
I'm not gonna come to answer Amin's question.
Okay.
So the concept of flux, you understood that if the tilt is not towards existence, then it is always in the realm of non-existence. The only time existence will happen is if the cause will make the push or make the tilt towards the existence. Yes? That 50-50 becomes 100% towards existence. You got out of that flux. I mean, yes?
Yes. So
Okay.
you're out of the flux and you've entered existence.
And now that you are in existence, you are 100% in existence, right?
Yes.
So if your preceding entity is also in flux, can that entity inherently give you existence? No, it's in flux. It in itself requires existence, correct?
Correct. It also needs a cause.
Right. So if you take any individual entity that gave you birth, let us say you eat food which sustains your existence. Yes, I'm just giving you an example, or you can bring me an example. Do you want to bring an example yourself, or this food is enough?
Food is good.
Food is good. Okay. So now that this food is keeping you sustained, right, in existence, but in reality, food is also a cause-dependent entity, right? It's cause-dependent or cause-independent.
Exactly. It's cause dependent.
Okay, if it is cause-dependent, right, then in reality, anything that you are consuming is always in a state of flux. How can something which is in a state of flux? I'm coming from the shortest way. If we still have questions, I can expand upon it. But let us see if we can come to conclusion this way. If any entity which is in flux, right, doesn't have a backing of an entity which is not in flux, meaning an entity which is cause independent, how will it at any point in time remain as an entity? Because remember, at no point in time the entity is cause independent.
I think that was a very good example, actually. And maybe I can like restate it in my own words. So basically, like the cause of, our existence as humans is like the life and energy on this earth and in this universe that basically caused us. But since that life and energy itself is caused, it
Cause
won't be able to
dependent,
sustain
so
us
it's in
forever.
flux.
It's dependent, so that in itself will die out one day.
No, not only one day, it will die out right now.
Yeah,
Because
in
because
general.
that
Yeah,
energy
yeah.
right now, like I mean, right now you, right now me, right? Are we right now possible existence, or we are essential existence?
We are causal.
We are causal, right?
Just like the food and the energy and the life that we eat to sustain ourselves.
Any existence that we know of in the realm of existence, right? In the realm of our reality, in the realm of possible existences, at which point in time the existence that are possible, they become essential. Do they ever become essential?
Never.
Never. So that means that that we are possible even after our creation. Even right now, you are a possible existence. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So if you are a possible existence right now, how will you exist without essential?
Exactly. If I don't have food, then I won't exist
No,
anymore.
even forget the food. No, food is an example that sustains you through food. But even your existence, even without food, meaning you as a wujood, you as a mawjood, right? Your your own wujood is you have a form, you have a shape, you have a constituents of your body that keeps you in position and in place, and so on and so forth. Yes,
Yes.
any of them are cause dependent or cause independent.
They're all cause dependent.
So at every level of your existence, as long as you are present, you are cause dependent or cause independent.
Dependent.
You're cause dependent, yes?
Yep.
So if you are cause dependent, at which point in time you will not need the entity which is cause independent? At which level?
There's never going to be a level because you'll always remain cause dependent.
Since you are always going to be cause dependent at every level of your existence, at every level of your consumption, at every level of your interaction, at every level of whatever you do or etc., at that every level you will need an entity which is cause independent in order for you to sustain that level of existence. Yes?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So therefore, you would always need the cause independent entity, the wajibul wujud, the essential existence, to sustain and maintain your existence. Without it, at any instance in your life or time, and at any space, you would cease to exist. Do you understand?
Very well explained.
So if I say to you that you are not necessarily just in existence because you were born through your mother. No, I am saying that at any time and at any level of your existence, even when you were in mother's womb, and that is true for any existence, as long as you existed, as long as you existed, at that level of existence, you remained a possible being, and therefore always in need of the essential to sustain your existence. And that is the inherent neediness of the possible existence. The possible existence is inherently a needy existence at any and all levels, regardless whether it is microscopic or nanoscopic or macroscopic. Doesn't really matter. Now that need may be, if we clearly think, we will see the presence of essential in it. And if we superficially think, we will see it as food, water, air. But if we think closely, we will understand that without an essential, there is actually no existence. We won't exist. So our own existence will require the presence of essential to sustain our existence. And then on top of that, we need tools to sustain ourselves, which in turn also require the essential existence to sustain their existence. So at no level we are devoid of that need because of the nature of the possible existence, the existence which is cause dependent. Do we understand that?
Yes, thank you.
Because this is going to be important, right? When we are going to come forward and we're going to talk about, oh, this is possible, therefore it is. So we want to be sure that when we make such bold statements, we have no question here, because all of them will come from here. So we good?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Bilal, we good? Well, however.
Yes, sir, you are good. You're good.
Okay.
I don't know if you can hear me or not.
No problem. I understand.
I'm on my
Okay.
smartphone, so yeah. So
I understand. I understand. It's okay. So, to conclude today, we will state that if and any argument that implies that if A's existence is dependent on B, while the same B, its own existence is dependent on that same A, it's an absurd statement because it's a circular argument, and that would imply nothing to be present, and therefore that's self-evident that it is wrong. Why? Because we exist. That's one. Two is that if any entity makes a claim that the existence is a product of a sustained and continuous and so-called infinite, which is not possible in the realm of possibility, that in any possible existence can have infinite regression, it would still imply that because each entity is in a flux, so it would actually imply the same thing, meaning if we had regression to be present, it means nothing would be present. Actually, nothing would exist. And yet here we are. So both of these arguments are inherently and intuitively incorrect. Because this second argument, these materialists bring all the time. If you read Bertrand Russell or, these people, the communist people, you will see that. So anyway, that is what we have. Who was the person of law of thermodynamics, first law of thermodynamics? I forgot his name. I forgot his name right now. Anyway, he also brought this
Wasn't it John Dalton by any chance, I think?
No, Dalton was the one who brought the argument of atom, and but he thought that the atom was a fixed entity, and so on and so forth. So, which is obviously not the case. So anyway, so anyway, uh, okay.
I asked Google
Frank
it.
Allen, Frank Allen, Frank Allen, the law of thermodynamics, which says that everything is going to move towards entropy, and at the end, all the temperatures would become equal, and no heat transfer and no energy transfer will happen, and so on and so forth. So that a person also said the same thing. So Bertrand Russell and Frank Allen, I was trying to bring this. Anyway, okay. So now we have agreed that the possible existence is inherently a dependent existence, and that dependency, or in Arabic, faqr, meaning it cannot stand on its own feet. It needs support always to be in existence, in sustenance, in provision, in action, and whatever you have. So this understanding gives us the concept of a God that is not only a creator, but a sustainer. And sustainer means that he is always with us. We are never separate from him. We are always in sync with him and always in the presence of him. And the implications of this are huge, which we will go for the Wa'akhiru da'wana. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Any questions? Since no, then I'm going to stop.